Manchester United in the Europa League. Europa League. We tell them one time and we say Europa League. Europa.
What's going on, guys? Welcome back to United View. Hope everyone is doing very well. Welcome back to the match preview. It's Fenerbahc versus Manchester United in the Europa League.
Sith Lord or Sith Lord?
Sir, my wife. Yep. She know. Well, you know what? I'm gonna give her flowers. She knows my timetable because she's asked me for it, and this was not on it. So there you go.
I tell you what, it was perfect. Honestly, we could not have timed that any better. That was, I mean, perfect. Literally gave me your cue. You've pressed the button. As you've pressed the button, it's come up Sith Lord.
The fact that she
just go like the comedy gods, they just go, we know when to do it.
The fact that she still stays in my phone as the Sith Lord, is brilliant. But it is. Do it.
But do it. But yes, we are chat about the Europa League. Match day 3 in the Europa League. So far, no wins for Manchester United. But when the draw was made about the 4 away games and 4 home games in the Europa, it was Porto and it was Fenerbahce. And arguably, this is the game that people were probably the most excited about. Not necessarily just because of the opposition, but because of the story, right? It's Jose Mourinho. It's Amrabat. It's Fred. I mean, it's mainly Jose, isn't it? That's the biggest story involved in all of this. And I don't know if you've seen, KG. I was just looking just before we start recording this at some of the comments that Jose's been making in his press conference. And I'm telling you, KG, Jose, just when you kind of forget, because he's a bit out of the limelight a little bit. You know, he's been in Turkey before that. You know, it was out of the way at Roma and what have you. He is, I mean, so box office. It is not even funny, yeah. Basically, he's done a press conference essentially saying, look, Fenerbahce aren't that good. Man United have got nothing to worry about. And he's going like, I had a great time at Man United. We won the Europa League. We won Carabao Cup. We finished second. And hey, look, with things how they go with Man City, that might count as first anyway. So I want to get that money when it comes to that as well. Like, he is...
He said all of this.
Box office, KG. That is Jose Mourinho. How are you feeling about it all?
I can't believe Jose said all that, but how are Fenerbahce fans feeling? Because when he's doing it and it's not to your team, it's okay. You see, if he said that about Chelsea and he was talking when I was at Chelsea, you know, like basically Chelsea have nothing to worry about. I know I'm here with Man United, but Chelsea, I wonder how the Fenerbahce fans feel about these words, because I wouldn't be impressed. I wouldn't be impressed with this.
I'm not the coach of Manchester United, and I don't see any reason for Manchester United to be afraid of Fenerbahce. But if they think it will be easy, it would be the wrong approach. I think they come with maximum strength. That's what I would do. Basically, going, look, if you play a strong side, you should beat us. You know.
You know what? It's because the compliment is for us. Because the compliment's for us, and he knows what he's doing because he's very clever. He's basically said, we're the underdogs, even though we're getting to their crazy ground. We're the ones basically saying that, look, Fenerbahce have no chance, and Man United are supposed to be the best team in the world. They're supposed to beat us. He's almost kind of adding to his legacy. So almost giving us the platform to just knock us off the perch, like high up in the sky.
And by the way, he doubles down. He doesn't just say it once. He doubles down on this. He goes, maybe you think I'm bluffing or I'm playing mind games. They have a better team than their results show. We watch everything. Their work is there, and sooner or later they will succeed. Hopefully sooner, and hopefully before I go back to the Premier League. He's like, I'm not. He's like, I'm not joking. They have the better team. They have the better players, which is true, by the way. You know. But he's like, this isn't mind games, but it is. It's Jose. He's basically going, look, they're better than us. They should come here. They should win. And it's peak Jose as well, because he's almost trying to set himself up if he wins by going like, you know, by basically going like, I beat Man United and I've got rubbish players. I've got a rubbish team. You know, I should be in the Premier League. I'm going to go back to the Premier League at some point. I'm only here because I just decided to be here.
So this is what you love and hate about Jose in one quick interview, because I've seen him do this to us And I've been the fan when Jose's waxing lyrical about somebody else, Spurs, anyone. There's been plenty of times the team that knocked us out of the Champions League. Like, he's done this before, you know. It's annoying. I think it's the Sevilla one that I'm thinking about when he talks about football heritage.
Yeah,
he talks about heritage. Yeah, this guy is clever though, because he will play 3D chess, and this is what we're getting from this guy: is our manager's going up against someone that has got a message out, and it hits so many different places. If I'm in his squad, I'm saying, what does he mean they're better than us? If I'm Saint Maximum, Dzeko, Fred, all these players, these Premier League proven guys, I'm saying, well, we'll see about that. So I'm warmed up for it. And they said, again, he would walk past players and ignore them at Chelsea just to get a reaction. Did you hear what this guy said about you? He does these things. This is prime Jose Mourinho. And it's a Jose that is probably looking for another job. So guess what? What better advert than this to be like, he probably circled down on the calendar and goes, Man United here. How this was set up is, if we beat these, no one should really be surprised because it's Man United and we're little old Fenerbahce. He's now had to remind people, we're Fenerbahce and Man United in a bad run of form, and you know, like, Man United can get beaten by anyone. Brentford give them a game. Anyone can give these guys a game. What he's now flipped and said is, no, they're still great Man United. They have the better players, and little old us are gonna test ourselves against these guys. He has the thought of, we're getting to win this game. This is the same guy that called him the special one from a special bottle. Like, he's different. He's going into this game with all intentions to ruin the party and probably get a new Premier League job, because the merry-go-round's coming soon.
Yeah, I mean, he backed Erik ten Hag in the presser as well, basically saying, I hope they stick with him for stability. He also spoke very positively about United, which he always has, really, saying that, you know, he liked his time there and left with a winning feeling. He's never lost any sleep about his departure or anything like that. But you're right, it's peak Jose. It's Jose that says, finishing second's my greatest ever accomplishment, you know, with United. He's, you know, he talks about when he was at Roma. Roma never won a European trophy till I go there. You know, and like I said, he's setting it up as, I beat Man United with Fenerbahce. A couple of stats when it comes to this one. Man United's record against Fenerbahce, not good. Man United have lost both their last two trips to face Fenerbahce in all comps, losing 3-0 in December 2004, 2-1 in November 2016. Fenerbahce, they're unbeaten in their last 7 home games in the Europa League, winning 4 and drawing 3, winning 4 of their last 5. Manchester United, of course, the recent record in Europe, KG, not good. We've won just 1 of our last 10 matches in major European competition. We were about to win in 5, last having a longer run between the 1980 and 1983. But when it comes to Jose against his former teams, he doesn't do too great. He's won just 2 of his last 17 games against sides he's previously managed, though one of those was against Manchester United, 6-1 by Spurs. That was in October 2020. So Jose doesn't do well. It's an interesting one. Jose doesn't do well against his old sides, but when it comes to Manchester United, they don't do very well against Fenerbahce, and we don't do very well in Europe at the moment. Bit of team news as well. We know Bruno Fernandes suspended, of course, so it's going to be interesting to see what happens with that. A couple of other absences. Man United have already trained today. Johnny Evans picked up a knock at the weekend, so he's going to be out. He's unlikely. Really surprisingly, Luke Shaw was on the grass today, individual training, not with the actual group, but I couldn't believe it. And there might be some youngsters there saying involved, but as far as the team, does it pick?
I'm hearing Malasia's travelled.
Yeah, Malacia was training with the group today as well. I mean, I'd be stunned if he played.
I heard Malacia travelled.
I mean, he was with the group. He was with the group today, but he's been involved with warm-ups for about 3 or 4 weeks, maybe at this point, maybe a bit longer. So I don't know if it was just part of that, because of course, when they do that open training with the media, it is only 10 minutes and it is only what they would do in the warm-ups anyway. It's not proper, like, hard-hitting training. So we'll wait and see for that. But as far as the rest of the team, then, what are we saying? Onana in goal, back four, Dalot, Delict,
Back for Dallo
Martinez.
Delict. I'm getting it's the normal back four. Onana, Leacher, Delict, Delo,
Yeah.
Mazraoui. That's the
Yeah.
back four
Yeah.
for me. It's
Yeah.
very simple. It pricks itself, especially with Johnny Evans now having a knock. Johnny Evans is a bit unlucky to be in the situation that he's in. Midfield is where you get into an interesting conversation because what do you do there? You know, like we've done a preview earlier this morning with the delegation, and they were saying, look, man, it's Ugarte for me is the biggest conversation point because if he doesn't play him, it will be raised eyebrows. You know, at the moment, we're fine. We understand bedding him in. I get it. It's bedding in process. But if is Casemiro fully fit? Did he take part in training?
Yeah, Casemiro took part in training today. So you would think the logical one would just be it's Ugarte, Casemiro, Eriksen in the 10. But it depends what, formation Eric's going to go with. Because whilst it looked like on paper it was going to be 4-2-3-1, it wasn't really in actual application. It was more of a 4-4-2. And can you really see Eriksen doing what Bruno did on Saturday, which is actually being quite close to Rasmus Højlund up front? Or does he just go, look, it's actually just going to be standard, 4-2-3-1 Eriksen in the 10?
In the 10-ish though at times, like, because Bruno does go. Bruno's not like positionally, disciplined. He does move about a lot, but I think he's given that option to say, "Go on, Bruno, create some, make something happen for us, but just drop in to help us in the defensive moments." Right? So Eriksen was expected to do a bit more. There was the first time he really saw, because even in that game was like before that moment, and he does the little flick pass. We're saying, well, what the hell is Bruno actually doing in this game? So he's vacating his position a lot anyway. I think it's hard because I know he likes to play Eriksen deep. I wouldn't be surprised if you do see a Casemiro next to an Eriksen, that double pivot type thing, how he's been playing it so far. But then who's the 10 ahead? And is this the time for Xerxes? And
for Xerxes, or for maybe an Ahmad, or is it Rashford and then Ahmad moves across? There is some interest. I just think the most obvious answer, the most likely one is the most obvious one, which is probably would just be Eriksen's in the 10 and Ugarte comes in. But then it will be one of those ones, won't it, where if Ugarte doesn't come in, then people will be like, oh, he's really far off it, actually. Like Eriksen not having him at all, which is quite interesting if that does happen.
This is where we are. Like, what I'm hoping that he takes. I want the manager to take a risk. You were mentioning, you're saying, look, the qualification, we can still qualify, and you've taken a risk in the Premier League, but we haven't got space in the Prem really to be being risky with lineups.
No.
So this is a testing ground for certain, if you can still qualify, as you were talking about all these other teams. I watched the show this morning. You said, look at the teams that are top in the Champions League. They're possibly not going to win it, but then, and it doesn't matter at the moment. Yeah, this is the place to trial stuff out. So then for the Premier League proper, we know what we want to do, because we're still trying to find out our best formation, best team. And there's players that I wouldn't mind even seeing something creative as Ahmad in the 10. Yes, it's not been seen yet, but why not? We've tried Mason Mount all over the place. What's the difference in saying, well, Ahmad, let's see what you can do. Think of all the positions Mason Mount's been in this team, and he still hasn't made something his own yet. Why can't we be as creative with a player like Ahmad, or try Xerxes in there with Rasmus ahead? We need to see what these players can do to know if they can be relied on late in the season, or when we do have a breakdown of players. Because now, like, we attempted Leacher as the left, and I know he's played there before, but we've not really done it at Man United. Sometimes you got to do these things just to know, do we have options for when we get Fred Bear? And I don't see why we can't go for it in this game. I know it's the cauldron. I know it's tough, because I don't want to. And also, the only way we can get Ahmad back into this team currently is if you play him in that position, because you're not dropping Garnacho and you're definitely not dropping Rashford right now on the way, they're almost, I don't know if there's some rhythm building, but something's going on with these. You have to keep playing them. Rashford on the right, Garnacho on the left.
Yeah, I mean, I suppose that gets into prediction time then, because I kind of just thought it last night when I was watching the Champions League, and I saw that Champions League table with Villa, Monaco, Sporting, I think Arsenal are fourth, and I can't remember who's fifth, might be Dortmund. And I looked at that and went, realistically, you're not really looking at any of them like, oh, they're going to win the Champions League or anything like that. So we kind of, even though it's one big league, we do have to kind of get out of that mentality of it's not necessarily finishing top. It's just finishing in the right area to get to the next stage. So that's why I look at this one and I say from a prediction point of view, we'd earmarked Porto and Fenerbahce as, oh, they might be losses or they might be draws when they first came out. I look at the two games this week. If you had to say, look, in an ideal world, you win both. But if you said you can only win one game, it'd be like, right, win the game on Sunday. Like this one, it's not the end of the world. Whereas Sunday, that could be nasty if we lose that one against West Ham. So I'm like, if I had to predict, if you listen to Jose's words and took them as complete gospel, you'd be like, Man United 3-0. The way he was talking about his own team. I'd love it to be that United had learned a bit of a lesson from the Porto one, because we need, not only do we need an away win, but we need a good away European win. I just don't, there's not that level of trust yet with me, with this group of players or anything like that. So I'm gonna go with a 2-2 draw. I think there'll be goals in the game because we just concede for fun in Europe. I'm going to go over 2-2. And I wouldn't be like completely downtrodden by that because I kind of half expect it. That's why I'm predicting it. So I'm going to go over 2-2. What say you, KG?
I'm going with a loss.
Is that based off what the stuff at the weekend, or is that what you believe?
No, I thought about it, actually. I thought about it properly. And I'm going with a 2-1 loss. I don't trust this Man United side. They need to do way more to regain the trust I can have in this team, this squad. We're going into a hostile environment and mentally we shit the bed. We talk about the bozo gene. We do that. That's us. When Delo decides to go to sleep, or Mazraoui, Onana's not. Actually, Mazraoui's not been the person that's gone to sleep. It's been a Delo, Leachers type situation who have or Casemiro dive in, or I don't know, lose the ball high up the pitch with a lot of players committed forward. We've seen this, and I know it's negative, but then there's a reason for this negativity. Again, we talk about one winning how much in Europe? 10. 1 win in 10 in Europe. I think these feelings are substantiated.
Exactly.
We're talking about a game against Porto where me and you we're here doing our thing, and we're saying to ourselves, 2-0 is not safe. Why is it not safe? We didn't feel safe at any point in that game. And it was our fault for getting ourselves to this place when we was thinking we could do this now. We started to get hopeful and believe, but Man United, until we turn a serious corner, that's when I'm going to be hopeful and just trust in this team. I don't. You know what I mean? I support the boys. I want them to win, but I don't trust them as far as I can throw them. I don't trust how the mentality they're going to start the game with. If we're going to have the crazy, remember we keep saying, very sloppy 15, 20 minutes, and then we settle.
Yeah, it'll come.
You want to do that against them with the flares and everything going, smoke, everything, like that's what we're going into. We're going into a serious environment, and mentality is going to shine through. And what I don't want Man United to do, because when we're in control of the game, or when we just decide, like, this team can't live with us, we can play anyone. But then when are those decisions? They're too infrequent. Where was that decision against Liverpool? Where was that decision against Brighton? Where was that decision against? Why don't we look like the best team for 70 to 80 minutes and the most dangerous? We had that good game against Crystal Palace, but I didn't see it this season. So you lot say that was our best game, right?
Yeah, well, and it was
domination
first half, and it was first half, maybe 5-10 minutes into the second half, but it wasn't. When you've got Onana making big double saves and Eze missed chances too, we should have been 2 or 3 up in the first half. But also then you look at Palace, how they're playing this season, they're bottom 3 team. You know what I mean? So we should be beating them, should we not? So that's when again.
Performance.
Well, Barnsley. Yeah, exactly.
No, seriously. No, not just Barnsley. No, let's do like a real one. And we dominated.
It would be the best performance. Probably would be the Palace one. In all honesty, well, actually, no. Did we dominate that one? That was quite edgy, wasn't it? Really,
Fulham, maybe
Southampton. Once we scored, we were very in control of that. They couldn't touch us after we scored. But I mean, we did have a penalty save, and like you said, there's not a 90. There's not a 90.
Exactly.
There's not a 90.
So then there's not a 90 or a high 80, and that's the issue. So anyone that does,
because like at the weekend, you go for about 65 minutes. Well, yeah, because even when they scored, it wasn't like at the time they were totally on top. First half wasn't great from United, but we had grown into the game by that point, and then for 20 minutes, we absolutely 25. Did. 25 minutes. But I mean, when they scored, that wasn't in that bopping it off the park period, was it?
Yeah,
we were going into the game a little bit, but that's what I mean. There isn't a 90, so that's what we're saying. That 20 minutes. No, of course not. That's why we are where we are. That's why we haven't won more than 10 in Europe. So
I'm almost kind of preempting because I understand how the response to what I'm saying, but I'm prefacing the response with we're 1 in 10 in Europe. Our league position, our goal difference, all the things that we dislike. But the main issue that I have is we're going into a hostile ground and these players are known to, I don't know if it's a Man United thing. I just don't understand, but we shit the bed at times. And hopefully these guys are mentally strong. They don't panic and they can trust themselves and play their football. But then that's a lot of things that I'm putting into hopefully all these things happen. And that's why I've said 2-1 Fenerbahce. I don't mind holding that. Man United, I'm going to be like this until they prove themselves. Until this corner turns, until they turn a real corner, this is what I'm on. And you have to deal with it.
That's what KG's on. So be sure to smash the like on the like button. Be sure to subscribe bottom right-hand corner. Let us know your predicted scores, predicted lineups, etc. Your thoughts on what Jose Mourinho has had to say in the comment section below. Of course, Flex is out there in Turkey. He was in the presser with Jose today. Honestly, some of the pictures, that's a small press room. KG, it's a small.
It's for his phone because he's got the mad setup. He does.
Yeah, it's mad. But we're going to be getting some stuff from him as well, so be sure to check that out. Of course, KG, that comedian, and myself will be live tomorrow as well for the match view. Yes. So you can join us. We enjoy our Thursday nights with the madness that comes with that. So be sure to join us then, and we'll be back very, very soon. Right, a bit. Peace.